Hello, hello. I'm your Cosmic Auntie, and this is a general collective reading for whoever may need it out there. As you pay attention to the messages, always make sure you bounce everything off your own intuition first and foremost. You know yourself best. You're the expert of you, okay? You'll know when a message resonates and you'll know when one doesn't. So don't make anything fit and take what you want and leave the rest, okay? Okay, so what's coming up for this collective? King of Wands. Whoa. Okay, you. This is super grand. Sorry, it's just very grand energy. 10 of Cups. The bottom of the deck. Okay, top of your game. You've worked hard to get where you are. This is really just, this is energy of that just feels like encouragement to just take a moment to just take it all in and enjoy what you've created. Enjoy everything. 10 of Cups is fulfillment, it's bliss, it's love, it's emotional safety, it's emotional security, stability, connection in romance, love, and family and community. It really is just so this, and the King of Wands is incredibly successful energy, incredibly successful, hardworking, has been through so much, has had so many pivots in life, and has learned so much, and has learned to trust themselves and to be adaptable, visionary, committed as well, intentional, and very charismatic. It's very attractive energy. So this is just feeling yourself, enjoying you, enjoying yourself. This is very charismatic energy. I feel like I'm talking to people who are incredibly charismatic in a way that just it's like the feeling of a bonfire. It's people want to gather around you and celebrate you and stare at you. You're mesmerizing, and this is not manipulative charisma at all. It's natural and even humble, it feels like. But this feels like a moment to kind of give yourself a pat on the back, and to just acknowledge that charisma, acknowledge that gift that you have. The Knight of Wands has come out now. Wow, look at that. So your drive, when you put your mind to something, you take action on it. This is giving me the equivalent of shaking hands and kissing babies kind of energy, a person about town, well known. I feel like I'm talking to people that know a lot of people, and everybody feels you know them, you notice them, you take, and I feel like you do. I'm talking to people who really take notice of people and are charismatic and warm and like a bonfire. People want to come out to that bonfire and gather around and be in the presence and be warmed by this bonfire. And it's I'm talking to people who have just so much light and passion and warmth, and you're very inspiring. You're inspired as a person, and you act on your inspiration, and that's inspiring to others. And I don't get the sense that you're out there with that intention. I'd like to let you know that, if you don't know already, that you really inspire others to take action on their dreams, their goals, their visions, their their intentions, their inspiration. We've got the Lovers at the bottom of the deck too. So like, this is just such a cool energy and strength at the bottom of that. Okay. I said this in a reading recently where it was like, I think it was Cancer's reading. You don't look like what you've gone through. And all those people that feel so personally known by you because you pay attention and you really do care, they might not even know everything that you've gone through. And this is what I mean about being this natural born leader, this natural inspiration. I keep hearing this like kind of how do they do it kind of energy. How do they do it? And it's done with a very strong relationship with self that's been cultivated through many a trying time with the Strength card and the Lovers here. There's, a lot that comes with the Strength card, right? This is times where you've had to gather your strength, you've cultivated it, you've built relationships with it, and oftentimes the Strength card is like someone with their like hand in the lion's mouth, because there's this notion of taming the inner beasts, getting to know the deep parts of yourself and committing to the deepening relationship of self. And with that comes like the trust in your ability to navigate the experiences of life, because you face these corners of yourself, you face these things head on, and there's this very strong sense of self here with the Lovers as well. This is ultimately deeper union with self, feeling harmony with yourself, acknowledging the duality of self, the full spectrum of it, right? The full spectrum of duality, all the dimensions of you, all right? And like just finding just this you-ness in all of that, if that makes sense, right? Because we are like multi-dimensional beings, and this is like radical self-acceptance. And I noticed that radical self-acceptance, well, it's incredibly cathartic, but it can also be super confronting, right? And often that catharsis, like that cathartic energy, comes after that confrontation. So I get this sense here, I'm talking to people that have brought love into the dark corners of the shadow, that is being triggered due to certain challenging experiences in life. This is how our shadows get triggered, right? And through that process, time and time again, cultivating a very strong sense of self, really just honing in that life force energy, because you've had to, and we all have to in our own ways, right? But I definitely feel like I'm talking to a collective that has been tried many times. And again, you don't look like what you've gone through, because I sense you to be very jovial, personable, really upbeat, and just like you bring the light into the room. You are the bonfire. that everyone gathers around. And that can feel lonely. But I sense too that there's a notion of working through that maybe at a past time. With the Lovers here, this is where you have really worked on being your own best friend. Your own best friend. And have committed to, and I hope you continue to commit to the deepening of that best friend relationship with yourself, right? Because life keeps unfolding. And there's going to be more triggers of the subconscious and the shadow that will be needing to be addressed, right? But there's a comfortability with that in the collective I'm talking to here. And it's an important reminder, like, just because, right, like, someone is jovial and personable and, like, it doesn't mean that they're not going through something. And I definitely feel like I want to see you in that. I want to see you in that. And I resonate with that. Because you hold it well, you handle it well. And, like, with the Ten of Cups, I do sense, and the Lovers here, that in the journey there's relationships that have been developed where you feel safe to be yourself. You feel, right, it's emotional safety, emotional security that's reciprocal, you know, where you can be your natural self. But just popping up for air here, I do feel like there's a big accomplishment that has been made with the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. You've set out to do something and you've done it. And there's an air of celebration here. And please stop and take it all in. Enjoy it. Celebrate. Experience it. You know, the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, they're ready for a good time. They want to have a good time. This is feeling good, smelling good, looking good. So we've got the Hierophant and the Three of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so there's definitely this notion of stepping deeper into a leadership position with the Hierophant. There's definitely leveling up, alignment in purpose. The Magician at the bottom of the deck, so the Cups. This is interesting. Some of you may be taking on, like, teaching roles, you know, getting into, like, you've made it so far in a certain field, in a certain skill set, like there's something, like you've become a master of something, and it's going to look differently for each and every one of you. And the Hierophant is this invitation into stepping into the student teacher role and really, like, stepping into your mentor energy. And it is this sense of purpose and alignment and sharing your wisdom to people who are interested in the wisdom that you share, and you being open to how this will expand your awareness even more on whatever it is that you're teaching, whatever wisdom that you're sharing, right? Because we are lifelong learners. And that's, like, the whole nature of the student teacher relationship, right? We learn from our students and our students learn from us. And there's this expansive process with the Three of Cups. This is community. This is groups. This is connection. So we have the Magician. Others of you might be developing certain workshops or, you know, projects or whatever it may be for you. You know, you've got to this king, you've worked hard, you've really put so much of your creative power, your life force energy, your drive, your intention to seeing this vision, to reaching this King of Wands energy, feeling on the top of your game here. And now the next level is stepping into that Hierophant energy, really really grooving into that alignment and sharing your wisdom. And oh my gosh, it's so cool. This is cool energy. So we've got the Hermit and we've got the Queen of Swords and the Temperance. Okay. Yeah, definitely some of you, in this collective have gotten promotions. Yeah, it's so cool. And so when it comes to these two cards, the Hermit and the Queen of Swords, there's kind of a notion of retreating for a bit and to develop this, to rest, to kind of reflect on everything that has brought you to this moment. That's the Hermit. It's taking in everything up into this point, integrating it into deeper wisdom. There's a sense of release, integration, and then stepping forward, coming out of the cave with your wisdom to light the lantern on the unfolding path. And the Queen of Swords is becoming more knowledgeable, articulate, aware of yourself, of the knowledge that you're going to share. Like it's kind of this energy of taking time to develop lesson plans, to really take the time to develop that, the outlines of the workshop, or, the outlines of the classes that you're teaching, and how you're wanting to break up the knowledge that you're sharing, or the speeches that you're making, to really develop the speeches or the podcasts or the songs, or however you are sharing your unique wisdom, or your training programs. Like this is again, it's going to be different for each and every one of you, but this is kind of a notion of celebrating this time because of how far you've come, reflecting on everything that you have experienced to get yourself here, how you'd like to break up your wisdom, your knowledge, your skill sets, to share it, to educate, and to encourage and to support others who are keen to learn from you, who are keen to learn the skills that you have to teach, that are like-minded, that, and taking the time to develop to strategize and to develop the strategy at the same time. But yeah, there's this whole deeper community that's developing around this, and it's going to be so expansive and beautiful. And Temperance is about alchemy, alchemizing it all, like really being experimental and curious and patient and present when it comes to developing, your skill set, how in whatever medium that you are sharing it with others. Oh, it's just going to just take you into a whole new level of this, a whole new chapter. It's just, again, going to just expand your mind and expand your heart, because with the Hierophant, you're learning a lot from those who are learning from you. And when you do that when you're open to that, right? Like, because that's where the magic is, really, it helps you become even a better educator, teacher, speaker, coordinator, whatever, right? Artist. Entrepreneur, again, it's going to be different for each and every one of you, but I just feel like such an expanse. 8 of Wands, there's so much inspiration. Things are going to be just popping, moving, shifting, grooving. And it's going to feel really good. And, travel opportunities as well. Travel opportunities could come with this, moving around and exploring different places you know, on the planet, to be able to share this knowledge, to be able to teach and learn from the students and the people who are learning from you, the people that are listening to you. And it's just going to deepen your awareness and deepen your skills so much more. This is just so cool. It's like really stepping into that like master's role. And that opening up all these new horizons for you, and meeting a bunch of like-minded people who are on, you know, similar wavelength. And it's just a really enriching energy. It's really enriching. And this hermit, like, kind of going back in and like taking the time to really reflect, take the time to really bring it into wholeness, right? And then the Queen of Swords is really being able to articulate, to be able to share the truth, the knowledge, the skills, the information, you know, in an articulate and clear way, being open to the perspectives we're going to learning, open to experiences that others, while also being in the sense of like authority, but not being authoritative. I don't sense that here at all. It's just really being in your authority and feeling that flow and feeling that strength in your authority, because you've worked so hard to be here at this point in like your craft, whatever it may be for you, and this point in your life as a person. Like, you have so much character, you know, it's not just a skill set, it's not just like you're bringing in this kind of knowledge of life too, while being so curious and open-hearted and excited about what's to come with this King and Knight of Wands here and the Eight of Wands, ready for adventure, ready to experience this new opportunity, full and packed with like and confident in the skills you have to share. Okay, very, very cool. I want to end off with a postcard from Spirit. Postcard from Spirit, please, for this collective. Dear you, now is one of those times you're being asked to add some distance. Take a step back and do nothing but observe. Don't worry about how long it'll take to regroup. Just know it's temporary and actually an opportunity to take a breath, slow down, and look how far you've come. Decisions for the highest good are made when you have clarity, which comes from being open to information from both the intellect and the intuition. When you step into the role of observer, it's as if you turn on a switch that allows your soul to be an essential part of the information gathering and decision-making process. In this way, you can approach things from a more neutral and non-judgmental place. We know you'll make the right choice. Trust us when we say now is not the time to get too close to the fray. Step back now. You will be glad you did. Love you.